Evening everybody, welcome to one of the very latest sets again. As you can see, pretty obvious, it's a tower crane. Now this set is not available in the UK directly. It appears that none of the usual toy shop sellers are interested for whatever reasons that they seem to know about, but we don't. But I suppose we could have a guess. Maybe it's considered a bit too Meccano enthusiast type of set. The age is more than the large Meccanoid, it's 12 plus, the large Meccanoid is 10 plus. That said, I have opened the box, I've had a quick flick through the instructions, seems very clear. But I say it's not available directly in the UK, which doesn't really make much difference these days. There is some financial, I suppose, charges or losses, but of course these days you just go on the internet, have a bit of a search and you can come up with it. Now this, I'll be honest, I did pay a little bit over the odds for this one, but generally if you can't find something over here, try Amazon France, and if you're already signed up for Amazon in the UK, your login works the same. Paying for stuff, you generally do get charged a little bit on top for a change of currency fee if you're using PayPal. I don't know about any other ways of doing it. You probably are these days. Of course, buying in the EU, you're not charged taxes at both ends if you're two EU countries. Essentially, you just pay the tax at the one end, which is the end that you're buying from. And these days, most European countries seem to be about 20%, what we call over here VAT. Of course, there's postage on top of that. I paid what worked out about, it was about €12, about, depending of course what the exchange rate is at the time, it's about 7 or 8 quid. I ordered it on the Sunday and it was here Wednesday, just a few days later. I paid roughly 300 quid. As I say, I probably paid a little bit over the odds for it. It's generally around 250, and somebody's done a recent search in the last week, or less than a week actually, and it's working out about 260 UK pounds. So it's not a cheap set, but there are lots of parts. There's approximately, what, 500 more parts than the large Meccanoid set. It needs 4 C-cell batteries, which are that type, should we call them middle-sized, and it needs 3 AA, that's one down from what we used to call pencil batteries, which is that size there. 3 motors, that's where your main batteries, the C-cells, come in for, and there's a remote control as well for each 3 motors. So you've got rotating top of the tower, the carriage runs, and obviously the jib up and down. As you can see there, 3 foot, approximately 90 centimetres high. There are 1,741 parts. Amongst those parts we have, just to give you a bit of an idea what you get in the set, and this is not all by any means, there's approximately 5-600 or so extra parts, or rather not included in this little list I've got here. So we've got 12 7.5 inch yellow angle girders. That's the standard ones you see here. It's 12 of those. At a dealer those are £20.28, and you probably won't be able to get yellow ones. 5.5 inch strips, there's loads. Yellow ones 91, and that's £53.69 at a dealer. Zinc ones 22. Standard bolts, but the black, 428. Nuts, again black, 532. So just the angle girders, all the 5.5 inch strips, the standard bolts and the nuts come to, at a dealer, £145.71. In the main, that is for new. Sometimes you might not be able to get exactly new ones, you know, odd colours or whatever, but new prices in the main, that's £145.71. The set's between 250 and 300, depending on, as I said, exchange rate when you buy it. I suppose the longer it's out the cheaper it'll get. It normally is the case. It weighs quite a bit, and you may be able to see the box bulges a little bit. It has been carted around quite a bit of late, but as you can see there, it does bulge a little bit, and this is where me personally I've been spoilt with the Meccano sets, which are lighter than this, but they are fairly weighty. You can see the video on those set reviews, and the build, of course, or about the build. The boxes are very sturdy, they're divided up well. In the case of this one, it's more like some of the multi-models boxes of a few years back, where you've got a cardboard insert with one divider, and to be honest, it's a little bit weak. Anyway, easier to show you that than talk about it. So there we are, folks. As you can see, it's strong enough, but the box ain't going to last that long, I don't think. It would have been nice if it was divided up a bit more like the Meccano set were, and it's very heavy holding it like this. I'm guessing, and it is a guess, 5 or 6 kilogram I would say, maybe more than that. That is a very rough guess, but there's a lot of parts, metal parts of course, and that's quite, now we've all sort of, well, mocked really the fact that some of the boxes say real metal. Well, you either have metal or you don't, I suppose, but that's just a minor thing. As you can see, bags of the usual, not too excessive variety. There's double, triple bags of parts. I'll put it down because it is heavy. And you know, just to give you an idea, there are the what's it, 90 odd, 91 yellow 5.5 inch. Quite an orange yellow though, but 5.5 inch. Strips, handed strips. I would have liked those to been bagged separately, say 5 or 10 each, because all together like that may mean damage. So far nothing's seen like that. So there, that's what was it, £53.69 worth of strips there. I won't get absolutely everything out, just show you a few things. Motors, geared by the looks of it. The new gear is hiding in that bag there, the new gear, somewhere, just there. And lots of string, or cord. Just looking at the axles. Looks like there's tri-axle and round. Looking at that. Yes, looks like that. I think there's more tri-axle than round. Small spacers. What looks like 9mm belts. And longer belts in that one. 7L strips. And there's loads of them as well. Looks quite usual, sort of modern thick paint or powder coating, whatever it is. More strips, 9L strips, shorter angle girders, girder plates. That's the remote, your 3 controls for the remote. Holders for the motors. It looks like I'm getting it all out now anyway. What we've got here, narrow 1/4 inch L space strips, mostly. Bolts, nuts, and all the zinc stuff, and there's loads in here. You won't see it very well because that many bags within bags. Now, here we have the 7.5 inch angle girders standard. Now, I'm going to mention it. I think it's only fair to mention when there's a problem, as well as if anything's good, of course. First thing to say, of course, is for parts, it is a bit of an outlay, of course, but it is very good for parts. I suppose it doesn't depend what you're after, but just on the value of parts, there's lots of parts in it. Needless to say, the box is a lot lighter now. So I'll get into one of these bags now and show you what the problem is, although the problem may not be with all sets, and indeed it may not be with all parts. So folks, this problem with the alignment of the girders, I've just got these sort of first out the bag. Now this problem may not be total set wide. There's been no official word on it yet, but I know of 2 sets, including this one of course, because there's not many about at the moment really, where there's a problem. Now here we have a standard girder, 7.5 inch long, slotted holes, round holes. There's 2 of them, and here we have, it's quite a natty little part really. I don't know whether these are in any other sets in a smaller variety, or these may be totally brand new, but as you can see, there we have a narrow angle girder with 1/4 inch hole spacing, but as you can see, round holes that side, round holes that side. Now those of you who've been into Meccano for many years and have got angle girders will note that you don't get many or you didn't, that have exactly the same shape of fold. Some are a bit wide at angle, if you like, where it's been folded. These however are very good, as indeed are the small ones. Very crisp angle there, very tight, 90 degrees, nice. But these are narrow. It's a bit of a fancy idea this. I don't really think this, I wouldn't have done this, but I suppose there are several things in modern Meccano I wouldn't have done. In a way, trying to be too clever perhaps, although it's a neat idea if it works. So you join the large, or rather standard angle girders together by putting the narrow one behind it. A neat solution, and indeed on the slotted side there are no issues with the holes lining up. But because these are made very tight, arguably better than old parts, and of course old parts have had some use now, so they're probably even worse, but the round hole side there doesn't line up. Now if there was a bit more variation in the way the parts are made, as what seems to be the older parts, you'd probably be enough to get away with that. But with these parts being very tightly angled, very spot on really, and the no slotted holes in the narrow strips, it does mean you've got a problem there. Now how are you going to get round it? Well, you shouldn't have to really. It's a bit early to say yet what's going to happen, but perhaps where necessary you could file your holes slotted in that, which is against the grain really, but those, you know, the easy answer is slotted holes in one side of those. So far that is the only problem I've found. It is early days. The instruction book seems very good. Overall it's a hell of a lot of parts for your money. Very traditional. Remote control, I presume it's infrared. Let's have a look at the controller. Yeah, there's 2 lights in there for your infrared, so I like that idea. Now going back before the set was introduced properly, and there was just a bit of rumour, conjecture I think, and the odd prototype knocking around a bit on the internet. I did read somewhere it said programmable. I haven't found that yet, but certainly a good set for parts. Of course that depends how many parts you've got and what you need. Overall, yeah, myself I did pay probably 40 quid over the odds really. The place where I bought them at the time of searching were the only place that had them. But there you go, can't win them all on that one. So around 250 to say 300 UK pounds. Of course you've got to add carriage there as well, and maybe a bit for the change of currency depending how you pay, of course. Of course if you're in France on holiday, wouldn't be too bad I suppose then. We'll get around to building it. I will be altering the way it's built with the tower unless parts get sent to me. Once we get reported, or rather it gets reported back to UK Meccano. But anyway, what I'm thinking is just basic 5-hole strips back of the joint, which is what I would have done myself. So, like it. As you know, I don't like the quarter-inch hole space stuff. I will build it as shown on the box with those parts, and then I'll be tweaking it. So it's a very impressive looking model, just the one problem as far as we know.